And we have a very timely viewer question for today's Finance Friday. First Ontario Chief Operating Officer Mark Perkins is here to answer it for us. Okay, so let's get right to this question. Right. So Mark from Smithville says, as the days continue for many to be stressful, hear you, Mark, how can a person financially cope in these tough times? And she adds, any suggestions would be helpful and bring a little more sunshine in our lives.
So it is really tough times out there. You know, there's a recessionary environment. Inflation is unpredictable. The economy is totally unpredictable.
People are worried about their jobs.
Absolutely. So whether you're, you know, looking to buy a house, saving for a down payment, you're just trying to keep up with the cost of living, or you've recently retired and, you know, you're seeing your portfolio compress. It is a difficult time. CPA Canada, so that's the Charter Professional Accounts Association, conducted a survey, and 83% of Canadians have changed their financial plans in the first quarter of this year. You know, 2/3 of them have tightened their budget. Only 25% or 24% have actually prioritized debt as the main issue. It's still inflation and the cost of living, which is the #1 concern of most, except in the younger demographic, 19 to 34. The price of housing affordability is certainly their #1 issue. So regardless of who you are and where you are, the impacts are real, and you need to have a plan, and you need to kind of think about what's your plan B should the worst case scenario or a different case scenario happen.
So how can you kind of minimize your risk?
You know me, it's always about having a plan.
Yes,
so,
yeah.
you know, we start by tightening our belts a little bit and trying to reduce on non-essentials. Also education. So do you have any big expenses coming up? You know, a tariff on, say, orange juice might be $1 or $2 more frequently, but if you need a new appliance or a new car, that can be in the hundreds or even the thousands of dollars. And you mentioned job loss too. So do you work in the auto sector? Do you work in manufacturing? Do you work in tourism? You know, someone planning tourism down to the U.S. is certainly having a tough go of it.
Right.
So we're starting to see some of the layoffs happen. We're starting to hear conversations about it. So it's really, you know, one of my colleagues asked, really emphasize the point is don't wait for it to happen, right? So talk to your advisors, talk to some experts, have a couple of plans based on a few scenarios which could happen, because really the stress is the unpredictability of what's happening, and it's changing on a daily basis, sometimes on an hourly basis. So it's really understanding the implications of the decisions you make and the choices you have, and having a few options.
And there is an opportunity, if you're able, to really help out local businesses as well.
Absolutely. So I love the Buy Canada theme. You know, there's a lot of small businesses out there, whether, again, in one of those sectors I talked about or in exporting. You know, try and buy local, try and understand, help your friends and neighbors, be there to support the Canadian economy. One of the things that's funny is you walk into a grocery store, and I always forget my grocery bag, and it's like, oh, I got to go back. Well, now it's my glasses, because I've got to read labels.
Yeah. You see a lot of people taking time, but it's, you know what, it's great. It's conversation starting already in the grocery aisle, where people are talking to each other about, oh, I didn't know that this was produced in Canada or whatever.
Yeah, so product of Canada means that every component of it is from Canada. Made in Canada means the source materials could have come from anywhere in the world, but it's put together in Canada. So you also got to be cognizant. We've seen it in the newspaper that some of the big box supermarkets are just putting maple leafs on everything.
Yeah.
You have to read that
It's another warning. Yep. Read the label. So bring your glasses.
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
Thanks, Mark. You can email your questions to Finance Friday at FirstOntario.com. And if your question or topic is selected to be covered on air, you'll get a gift card from First Ontario Credit Union. Thanks very much for coming in.